Peter's. It's Father Stephen coming again to give you a little bit of a walkthrough on the work that we're doing at St. Peter's inside the church nave. If you haven't gotten a chance to watch the first video, that one covered the undercroft, the lower portion, which had our classrooms and our old parish hall and kitchen, and so you can take a look at that video when you have time. This is a video concerning the work being done in our church, and I've got quite a bit to just mention to you briefly. Before we begin, I wanted to kind of give you a sense of some of the nomenclature we use in our church, like narthex and all that kind of stuff, chancel. When we enter into a church, we enter into the narthex. Technically, that's a foyer, but there's a theological reason for narthex being the word we use. It has to do with the Latin phrase for a grain or a seed, and the idea was that you're planted in the narthex, and through baptismal waters, that's what brings you into the church. So we start in the narthex. The next portion is the nave of the church. The nave is that portion of the church where we sit and kneel and pray and listen to the scriptures. And then the next portion is the transept, where the two lines cross, kind of making a cross in the floor plan. And then you have what's called the chancel or the chancel choir. That's where the choir sits. And then the next part is actually what is the sanctuary. A lot of folks will call the entire church space a sanctuary, but in reality, the actual sanctuary is that portion behind the rail where we take communion. Sanctuary, it comes from that word sanctus, which is holy, and all of that's derived from that holy place. The sanctuary is the holy place where God resides. So that's why we call that a sanctuary. So we'll walk through that, and I'll give you a little bit of heads up about what's going on in the work. Coming into the narthex, there's a little bit of sound from the air handlers in here, and what I'll point out to you is there's not much going on in the narthex, not much changes. Over in the corner, back along here, I'm going to show you, we did have to take out some ceiling, as you can see there, just from some water damage. They're cleaning that up. But all in all, this space was in good order. There is some mold on the closet back there where we keep the chairs. They're going to have to clean that up as well. So this is a different site for all of us to see. This is the nave of the church. And as you can see, they've removed a great deal of the drywall from the ceiling. And it's kind of funny, actually the roof deck is what we're looking at. There's no insulation right now, but we're looking at the bottom of the roof deck and the rafters, and they're actually very pretty. It's a shame we have to cover them up, but there's no insulation, so we have to come back in there and put insulation and put drywall over that insulation when things come back together. And you'll also notice that all the pews have been relocated. They're in the parish hall, both parish halls right now, so that they could get these heavy scissor lift equipment in here to get that drywall down and put new drywall up. So we're going down the main aisle of the church. As you can see, they've covered all the stained glass, both the high stained glass and the lower windows to protect them. When approaching the pulpit, they built a box around the pulpit so they wouldn't have to relocate that bit. There's also some fabric in there that they're going to clean. There's some stencil of the Gospels that they're going to clean. One of the other things to note about the pews is they've removed all the pews, even the ones in the chancel, and they're going to be cleaning the cushions and all those sorts of things as well. Last bit I wanted to show you at this point is the console for the organ. You can probably see that we've built a box around it with plastic covering to keep any dust and other things out of the console. And then also back beyond that wall there is a fabric wall, and so they've sectioned off the fabric wall beyond where the organ chamber is to keep any dust and that sort of stuff out of the organ chamber, which they've already cleaned and sealed off. So all of that is under its protection to keep it clean. The last couple of things I want to point out, I'm turning around here. You can look up at the rose window. There's some scaffolding up there. They ended up needing to use scaffolding, lease some scaffolding because the scissor lifts can't go as deep into the balcony, and they're too heavy to actually be lifted up there, so the balcony wouldn't be able to support it. So they had to do that work with scaffolding. The same is true for the space above the chancel in the choir area. They can't put the scissor lifts on this platform because beneath me right now are the classrooms. The main part of the nave is on a foundation, concrete foundation, but once you hit about the first pew, from that point on, we're on a steel structure with a poured concrete floor, and it's got the classrooms underneath, so it's not as strong to support heavy lifting equipment. So thankfully, we got a good team that knows about that sort of thing, and so they keep that equipment on the far side. The last bit of information, as you can see, we've also taken down our light fixtures, and there's a bit of information that I need to pass on to you all about that as well. So one of the things that we discovered in the hang on, I'm going to set my thing here. One of the things that we discovered about the light fixtures is a bit troubling, and that is that the wiring and the mechanisms inside of them really kind of reflect the technology of the 1960s. And if you can imagine old lamps that you might take apart and repurpose, they have those metal sockets that are made of tin or aluminum, sometimes brass, and then they're insulated with cardboard. And so those are the types of fixtures that were in there, and many of the wires were also spliced together simply using electrical tape. And so while it was a very caring process to put together, the way we had an outside consultant take a look at it, and the way that they're constructed don't lend themselves to being under codes today. And so we're very concerned about that. The other thing that we noticed in that is that the panels of glass are not tempered glass. They're very thin, standard glass that's been frosted. And when that kind of glass breaks or cracks, which some of the pieces were already cracked and broken, when they break or crack, they become loose. And you know, a breeze from the air conditioner could blow the panel out of its footing, and could be dangerous if it were to fall on someone. So we have some concerns about that. We're trying to figure out how to address it. One of the other interesting things about the manner in which those panels are connected to the frame of the light fixtures, those big lantern light fixtures, is the same way that there are little tabs that hold the panes in place, and they're very similar to the tabs when you have a picture frame and you put a photo in there and you bend the tab and put the photo in and you bend the tab back. That's how the panes are held in place. So they're not as formidable and secure. And then the last bit about that was the manner in which they were fixed to the ceiling needs to be more robust. So we're looking at that. We're looking at how to address that and the financial costs that it may incur, and some alternatives for us if it's exorbitant. So just wanted you to be aware of that. It's something we take very seriously because we know that they were a gift to the church many, many years ago, and that's very important to folks. But safety is also a major concern. As again, our consultant, an architect, said that these types of things can be fire hazards for churches. So we're very mindful of that. So if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to call or email me. And things are really progressing here, and we're excited and can't wait to get back in our space. both in terms of finishing this work, but also in terms of worshiping together. So we're looking forward to that. I know the next time I have a video of this nature, we're going to talk about the financing for our project. And then also after that, another video will come around regarding our protocols for getting back into corporate worship. So all of that's on the horizon, but we need to be patient. As you know, this quarantine thing that we're going through right now isn't just about us. It's about the people that we're with, the people that we care about, and wanting to make sure that they stay healthy. So keep that in mind. God bless you guys. It's great to talk to you in this way, but I can't wait till we can talk face to face. See you soon.